weight classes.
This class being one of them. Beatrice Perron was actually on the wrong end of that controversial call that went in favor of Hiroki Miyami.
That's correct. That's correct.
And
Miyami,
she finished fourth.
Miyami, who on what's now an infamous snatch, actually her butt touched the platform, but it was not called by the judges, and she was given a good lift. That was her final attempt snatch. It was a make-or-break lift for her, and she ended up in bronze medal position, bumping Perron out of off the podium. So.
Right. Well, Perron had originally entered, as we mentioned, for this weight class here, and that would have made things even more difficult, particularly for returning medalist Kathleen Winters, who's here. She is probably middle of the pack on the start list. Winters, who recently was defeated by Alyssa Ritchie at the U.S. Nationals. They are both here, actually. Stands a good chance, I think, of getting back in here, but she had a tough trip in. She's right now listed. She had a tough trip in and making weight. She's listed to open with 65. And it looks like the leader is Segura at 75 kilos is going to be the biggest opener for now. Amanda Braddock is in at 73, so she can make things interesting as well toward the top, at least for the snatch competition. Let's see how she holds up in the clean and jerk.
Interestingly, Ritchie opening at 70. This is her first time representing the U.S. on an international stage. So I know a lot of fans of USA Weightlifting and followers of USA Weightlifting are looking forward to seeing how she performs. But first up, we have Cynthia Kandis of Argentina, who is opening
43 kilos. Cynthia's 25 years old. I believe this is the first time we're seeing her on an international platform.
All right, that looks like it'll be a good lift for Cynthia. 3 white lights. Now, we've got a bit of separation here. She is listed to open with 100 kilo total, which is a pretty large margin below some of the other competitors here. She's only been lifting since December 2012, her first time at the Pan American Championship, so looks like she'll be following herself here. 44 kilograms on the clock. My guess is that they'll increase that a little bit, give her a little more time between attempts.
Right, so that's the 1 kilo increment, 2-minute clock. So what they might do is burn a little time, make a declaration. You could actually see this weight change 2 more times, or actually 3 more times if she makes a declaration higher than 44. Here is her opening attempt. Solid punch out. Nice job, nice way to start.
You know, for her first time at the Pan American Championships, that's what you want to see. You want to see her go up, make some lifts on the international stage. It's a different atmosphere. There's a different dynamic, and the timing is very different for these international sessions relative to a local or even national meet.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider with the scoring for Pan Am game qualifications, there's 13 lifters. I'm sorry, there are 12 lifters in this session. That means, you know, it doesn't matter what she's lifting necessarily. A 12th place finish is going to add some nice points for Argentina.
Right.
And they'll take anything they can get, and it doesn't matter if she's maybe not yet in the same level of lifting as the rest of this field. It's still going to be a top 12 finish that, you know, will bring in a decent amount of points for Argentina's efforts to qualify spots for Pan Am Games.
All right, as predicted, we have another change. It looks like 47 kilograms will be Cynthia's second attempt, the lifter from Argentina.
She's not really moving around much. I think they might change it again, or are they looking like, yep, they're going to bring her out, I think, with this.
All right, we see her coming out now. Second attempt, 47 kilograms on the bar for the lifter from Argentina at her first Pan American Championships.
All right,
a bit
good lift there.
A bit uneven on the catch. It looked like she was leaning over toward her right, stage right, I guess you would say, but she secures it overhead. You don't have to catch it evenly necessarily, just with locked out arms. So she's credited with her second attempt, and will be following herself again for her third attempt.
And I think there's a very good chance we will see her again. Landeros would be next, waiting on an increase to 55 kilos. So I doubt we'll see Kandis jump that much. So chances are we'll see her with 50 or 51, I would imagine. She took a 4-kilo jump from her first to a second attempt, so I would imagine you'll see something similar to that. If they load the 50 here, burn a little clock, I would guess you'll probably see her out with 51.
And folks, if you're just tuning in, you might have noticed that the schedule is a little bit different than what was originally posted earlier in the week. That is fairly common at a lot of these international meets. The 48-kilogram women's weight class was originally supposed to take place over 2 sessions, but it has been consolidated into one.
So replay here for Kandis.
All right, 50 kilograms is listed for her next attempt, so I think we're going to come out. I think we're going to see her come out and take that. Different than some other events that you might have seen live streamed on USA Weightlifting site, we actually have a lot of different great camera angles coming to you today, so we're able to take a peek backstage in the warm-up area at the Marshall's table, as well as multiple camera angles right on the platform here in Miami.
All right, so here's Kandis' third attempt, 50 kilos. She's 2 for 2 thus far. Almost, but no lift there for Cynthia. She'll be credited with her second attempt of 47 kilos. And now it looks like we're going to jump up to 55 kilos for the first attempt of from Jessica Gonzalez.
All right, Jessica Gonzalez, the lifter from Nicaragua. She is the youngest lifter in this session. Still in weightlifting years, is a youth lifter.
Born in 2000. I believe she's got another year or so as a youth athlete. No, this is it.
She has a couple more years as a junior athlete. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of juniors, she was 6th at the 2016 Pan Ams. She totaled 118. Snatched 52 kilos on her opener at that meet, so here she is opening with 55. That was in April of last year.
All right, 55 kilograms on the bar. First attempt for Jessica Gonzalez of Nicaragua. Looks like a pretty easy first attempt. 3 white lights. She's on the board. That looked like a pretty effortless first attempt. Pretty textbook.
And again here we'll see her automatic increase. Once she goes, no, there is a bit of separation on the field. It doesn't look like the next change would be until 60 kilos, so there's a chance that we might see Gonzalez following herself. So for now, they're going to run a 2-minute clock. She is declared 58 kilos. That's going to be the weight that goes on.
Now she's just one of a handful of youth lifters we'll see this weekend. I think there are around 8 total listed across all sessions at my last count. That might have changed a little bit.
Yeah, perhaps.
But not a ton, which is, this is a senior international event, so it is a pretty fantastic accomplishment for a youth lifter to qualify. But we will see a few more later on in the weekend. She's the only youth lifter in this session, though.
There are 2 other juniors here, Montero of Cuba and
San Martin
of Ecuador. But yeah, you're right. The idea of getting some younger athletes international experience or experience on a senior level, a lot of them who we'll see at the youth and junior level have competed at Pan Am's or maybe some other international events on the junior level, but now that we're at the beginning of the quad, it's a nice idea to get their feet wet, get them out here, and get them feeling something a little different frankly, in tougher competition. And that can teach you something, too.
And I was just going to say, Jessica Gonzalez coming out, her second attempt, 58 kilograms, so looks like she took a 3-kilo jump.
From what we can tell, she has tried as much as 56 on an international stage, so this would be, I believe, a personal best for her in a major competition. Just back.
Now, it's always interesting to see if someone misses an attempt behind, especially a second attempt, if they can make the corrections to come out and make it on their third. Obviously, plenty of pull there. She can get into the correct positions. But it's always interesting to see if people overcompensate. Sometimes we'll see lifters miss that next lift forward.
When they come back. Yeah, so, right. One up, one over, that kind of thing. And sometimes you'll look at how a miss occurs on an increase, and you're saying when you go back, maybe because you're thinking if you can miss it behind you, obviously you're strong enough to get it where you need to be for the most part. And it looks like it there. I don't think that was too aggressive a call at all for Gonzalez with that 58. Hopefully she can just take a few minutes, relax a bit, and then just come back out and make that. Or move up. So off that 58-kilo miss, Gonzalez of Nicaragua has elected to move up, which is going to put 60 kilos on the bar, which will now bring out Catherine Landeros.
The lifter from Chile, opening at 60 kilograms. So she did represent Chile at the Olympic test event. That's right. She was in Rio, but did not compete at the Olympics. They did have the Olympic test event in April of 2016
on that platform in that venue.
Right, and that was a very interesting competition to follow. The U.S. sent down a pretty impressive squad for that, and actually Sarah Robles, who ended up medaling at the Olympics and kind of breaking the U.S.'s Olympic medal drought, was
there
at that competition.
Yeah. All right, so now here's Landeros. First attempt, 60 kilos. It's a good start.
Looks pretty textbook for her. Now, her heaviest successful snatch at that Olympic test event in Rio last year, a little over a year ago, her heaviest snatch was 58 kilograms. She actually missed 60 on her last attempt. So this is already a PR on the international stage for her.
Yeah,
as
a
far
little
as we
over a
know.
year later.
Yeah.
Here's that attempt from the side. Bar moved away a little bit when she dropped into that. You'll see, I think that was the first that I've noticed, and we're going to see a lot of that dynamic start, that hip dropping and going. You see a lot of that with several of the South American nations. It's a style that's very common. That was the first time I noticed it, of the three lifters anyway that we've seen so far.
You don't tend to see it in the heavier weight classes.
Oh, I think we might be surprised, yeah.
I think we might see a few exceptions here, huh?
Yeah. All right, so now here's Jessica Gonzalez, third attempt, 60 kilos. She missed 58 on her second attempt, made her opener with 55. No.
And we've seen this happen before. She missed her second attempt behind her, and
felt good.
Felt good. Kind of overcompensates. Her pull wasn't as strong there, and she misses it in front. So it is something that we do certainly see a lot of athletes suffer from in competition. But she'll be back for the clean and jerks in just a bit.
Now it looks like we're going to go to 63 kilos, and this will be the first attempt of Margath Reynoso. I'm not asking for movement. Reynoso of Guatemala. Something we've said already with the first few athletes that we've seen. This is her first major international competition. She's been to a couple of junior Pan Ams Oh, I take that back. Actually, she was in Cartagena last year.
All right, Margoth Reynoso, first attempt, 63 kilograms.
Good lift. I think that will go her way.
She caught that pretty high. I'd be interested to see that from the side. And I believe we have that angle we can replay. That's a good lift for her.
By majority decision, there was a red light in there.
All right, let's take a look at Reynoso's lift here. Kind of catches it on her toes there. I think the judges might have seen a press out in one of the arms.
But I didn't. I like the way the call went.
Doesn't always have to look pretty.
All right, so now we'll go back to Linderos. This is her second attempt. 63 kilos is that same weight that will stay on. Now remember, by the new rule and the elimination of the body weight advantage, Linderos will move into second place because this weight has already been achieved by another lifter. So this is Linderos' second attempt. Better than her opener.
She looked very comfortable with that one. That'll be 3 white lights for her. This is obviously, for those who have been following international weightlifting news, the U.S. is privileged to host the Pan American Championships this year, but this is not the only international competition that will take place on U.S. soil this year. The World Championships will be taking place in Anaheim, California in November and December later this year.
Which means the second time in a row.
The second time, because the last World Championships were Houston 2015.
That's
then
right.
You had the Olympics, yeah.
And then I believe we have also, there's a replay there on Linderos. But I believe we also secured the Youth World Championships. Is that right? For
Youth Pan Am.
Is it Youth Pan Am? I got to find that out. But I know there's another meet coming.
There's been a lot of breaking news recently on Olympics and Pan Ams and other international meets being allocated to cities and countries, so it can get a little tough to keep track of it, but we are really thrilled that the U.S. is hosting both these great international meets this year.
By the way, Kathleen Winters had originally been on at 65. She has moved up to 70 kilos, so that's going to bring Linderos back out for her third attempt. Not wasting a whole lot of time here.
That'll be a good lift for Linderos. All 3 attempts, very solid for her, and I would say they almost got better with each successive attempt.
Yeah.
So, JP, you mentioned that we saw Kathleen Winters flash up there at 65 kilograms, but actually move up to 70, so that's a sign perhaps that maybe her warm-ups were going fairly well. 65 was a bit of a conservative opener for her after maybe a tough weight cut and a lot of travel. So she's back up to maybe where we expected her to open before the competition.
And they might have put that 65 in as a just in case.
Right.
See this again from the side from Linderos. Nice finish. Really gets into the bar nicely. It's a good series. 3 for 3. You love to see that. She has to open with at least 70 in the clean and jerk to conform to the 2020 rule. She originally was in at 128, but moved all the way up on the start list. Her entry on the final verification, this is Linderos. She moved all the way up to 150. So that means she has to open with weights that total out to 130.
So we do have another change. Ludia Montero Ramos was originally up, but now we actually have Margoth Reynoso coming up for her second attempt at 66 kilograms. She was awarded her first lift by a 2-to-1 decision, so I'm going to be looking for trying to see what maybe one of those judges spotted.
Did you
here.
notice which arm?
I believe it was her left.
Okay.
So I'm going to be paying attention to her left arm here.
It did look a little, I mean, she didn't get it fully extended or secured, but that side did look a little soft. So, yeah, she does have another attempt. It looks like we'll set a 2-minute clock. I don't believe there's another lifter looking for 66 kilos. So we're seeing a lot of 2-minute clocks here at the outset of this session. Now, that's not a surprise, obviously, with Cynthia Kandis being so far below the rest of the group. But this is something that happens. The tempo of this session is not really flowing yet.
Right. Which is something that can throw a wrench in preparation for a lot of lifters who might not have experienced that yet. There is a level of gamesmanship in international competition, and the sessions, the coaches really have an extra challenge here, because this session could pick up as we start to get to a grouping of lifters that are lifting very similar weights.
And that grouping is going to happen around 70 kilos, and it will happen. So once we get cleared of Margot Reynoso on her third attempt here, hopefully she will make this. I think you're going to see a jump to about 68. Looks like 67 kilos for Bermudez, Cuba. Better effort.
Better effort, but was not able to secure it overhead. So she'll be credited with her first attempt. Margot Reynoso, the 28-year-old lifter from Guatemala. And she'll fairly soon start prepping for the clean and jerks. As JP mentioned, the pacing of this session has been a little slow so far. A lot of 2-minute clocks, some lifters following themselves. We're getting very close to that picking up. There is a grouping of lifters around 70 kilograms where I think we're going to be seeing a faster pace of attempts and a tighter grouping. But right now we have Eliane Bermudez Perez of Cuba coming out for her first attempt at 67 kilograms.
She did 68 kilos last year in Cartagena. This is her second senior Pan Ams.
She finished 8th overall last year.
7th in the snatch. So, you know, this is about where she was a year ago, but it's a better start. Mm-hmm. So we are seeing some progress in everybody who has come out already. And, you know, if she can get north of 70, I think that would be the first time we've seen her lifting in that range. So all hinges on a good start. Let's see what she's got here with 67 for her first attempt.
Very solid opening attempt for Perez. She was actually lifting as a junior lifter last year at the Pan American Championships.
Year of birth of 96, so
yep.
Yeah, this is her first year as a senior.
She did go 5 for 6 last year, but she's already on the board here and seeing if she can improve upon that performance.
She's got one sitting on her automatic increase for now. I think she'll get a bit of a weight. And there's a change, so she moved to 70, and that is going to bring out, looks like, yeah, Ludia Montero Ramos of Cuba for her first attempt, and it does look like she's getting ready to take it.
Ludia still a junior lifter, birth year of 1999.
Oof.
Very quick under the bar, 3 white lights for the lifter from Cuba. And this brings us to the first attempt of Kathleen Winters, of the United States. She was your bronze medalist at the Pan American Championships last year.
75, 93, 168.
So she's got a bit of ground to make up relative to where she finished last year for that bronze medal. But she's certainly still in the running here.
Oh, I expect her to be in contention for a medal, but I think this is a deeper field.
I
to be honest with you,
agree.
last year. All right, so now here's Kathleen Winters' first attempt. She weighed in at an even 48 kilos. From what I was told, it was not an easy weight cut. She needed the whole hour to get there, so we'll see if there's any lingering effect of the weight cut. She also got in here late yesterday. In the afternoon, she was trying to get in here on Thursday. All right, so now here's Winters' first attempt, 70 kilos. Looks good.
All right, good opening first attempt. Big smile. She's obviously happy with that. A lot of her fans in the audience. Home field advantage here for USA Weightlifting. So Kathleen Winters is on the board. You know, you mentioned she had a bit of a tough weight cut. I actually saw her on her way to the sauna this morning. And I think she had to spend some quality time in there to get a little bit of that water weight out.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked about this attempt was that for her, we've seen her bounce around a little bit in the bottom. This was very smooth. Mm-hmm. Just punched out, held it. And, you know, I think that technically was very good. No vertical movement or no horizontal movement. And I just think it was a nice way to start. That's what you want an opener to look like. Mm-hmm. And let's see where she takes things from here.
I think it was a very good coaching call for her to open at 70 kilograms today.
Yep. And now her teammate and countrymate, Alyssa Ritchie, is also on at 70 kilos.
Oh, there's a switch. Looks like Alyssa Ritchie is going up. And we'll be seeing Perez come up for her second attempt at 70 kilograms. So
Ritchie moved to 72. They are running the 1 minute clock on Bermudez. She took 67. This would be a 3 kilo jump. It does look like they're getting her ready to come out here.
I actually might not be surprised if Ritchie goes up again beyond that. Her recent snatch PR is actually 80 kilograms. So she could open up somewhere closer to 75. Not sure if she'll need to, but certainly thinking that 70 was a bit light.
Right. We've consistently seen her do in the meets where she's been at 48 in the mid-70s or higher. Exactly. That remains to be seen, but right now we've got
Bermudez Perez, second attempt, 70 kilograms. Her first attempt at 70 looked very solid. This would be an improvement on her Pan Am's performance last year.
Little flicker on that left arm.
Let's see what the judges say. 3 white lights.
Let's take a look at that again.
From the front, if possible. I want to check those elbows. You said you saw something in one of her arms,
and
JP?
It was quick. Yeah, just that left arm. See this. Just watch it when she punches out. She gets under it really nicely. Right there.
A tiny bit in the left arm there. It was very, very quick.
And sometimes that's enough to get a lift to go your way, and that might be an early indicator of what we're going to see in terms of the officiating for this session, and that's probably a good thing for the lifters there if you're going to see that they might be a little bit lenient, because we've seen some sessions that are just very, very tough, very tightly called.
We haven't seen too much from the judges yet. We haven't seen any jury activity yet.
Oh, we're only 12 or so attempts in.
There's a lot of competition left to go here in Miami.
All right, so now here's the first time we're going to see Cynthia San Martin of Ecuador. San Martin is our other junior athlete in this group. She recently competed in the Junior World Championships in Tokyo. Good lift. Now in Tokyo, she snatched 73 on her opener, missed her next 2, so taking it a little bit more conservative on the opener today, but that was very solid.
Certainly. And with all of these lifters concentrated in the low 70s. You have to think she wanted to just get one on the board, see where other people were attempting, kind of see where other people were making their lifts, and then decide from there. So sometimes you just want to get one on the board and then wait till your coach has a little bit more information.
Yeah. All right, so now clock is running on Ilani. Oh,
Nope,
she's moved up. Yep.
So we have Kathleen Winters is now up for her second attempt at 71 kilograms. I'm actually a little bit surprised by this. And
let's see if it holds.
yeah,
I don't
we have
really
another
see
chance.
Kathleen in the ready area. I don't
Yeah.
think she's coming out with this.
One great thing about having this camera, looking back on the warm-ups area, is that we can
Tell.
Yeah, we
because
can-
now you can see
Yeah.
Perez is going to take this. Like
And
you could see right away as soon as the call was made, she stood up.
And some of the best action in weightlifting takes place behind the platform, so I'm really glad we get a
Especially
peek
when
into
Piros Demas is on screen. All right, so now
that. Bermudez Perez, third attempt, 71 kilograms. Looked very solid in her first attempt. We might have seen just a little bit of a quick
wobble.
elbow unlocking in her second.
But this is a 1 kilo jump here on her third.
Worth noting, her second attempt might have looked a bit shaky, but didn't look heavy.
Agreed, yeah. But she got a nice rebound out of the bottom. Did that go forward on her? I would love to see that from the side.
Yeah, I think she actually caught it on her toes, and it kind of launched the bar
All
forward.
right, let's take a look at this from the side.
That's one of those where if she had been able to stabilize in the bottom, I think she might have been able to save it.
Because there was an immediate rebound.
Right. We actually see Alyssa Ritchie prepping to come out and take her first attempt at 72 kilos. But right here we can see that last attempt.
On the feet, she came up. Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of
Went
moved her forward as a unit with the bar. And when you miss those, you miss them quick. All right, Alyssa Ritchie, her first attempt. Alyssa has really only been a full-time weightlifter for less than a year. Previously, she was a gymnast and a CrossFit athlete.
Well, she's been lifting for longer than that. She took some time off. She was at nationals, I think, as a 53.
Well, she was also competing in CrossFit
exactly.
at the time.
That was her focus at the time. But she is now our national champion, USA's national champion at 48 kilos. She won that in Chicago just a few months ago.
72 kilos on the bar.
Quick. That's a great start.
Very solid first attempt. 3 white lights. She is on the board. She seems happy with that.
She opened with 75 at the American Open here in Florida in December. At Nationals, what did she open with? 74? No, that was at the American Open 1 in Reno.
All right, we have Ludia Montero Ramos coming out for her second attempt at 72 kilograms. Her first attempt, very quick, looked very easy, really, really fast under the bar. The junior athlete from Cuba.
Ooh. Wow. That's 2 for 2.
Well, that's how you do it on a second attempt. Well, that brings up Cynthia San Martin for her second attempt at 72 kilograms, a lifter from Ecuador. Take another look at that last lift from the front. Really fantastic speed here.
Just plows under it, too. Just aggressive.
Some lifters can get away with that.
A little long on the pull, if you notice. She stayed with it, but as soon as she went down, I mean, there's no hesitation, no fear. Love that. All right, now this is the first time we're going to see Canada's Amanda Braddock.
Braddock has actually been profiled before on barbend.com. If you take a look on our site and do a search for her, you can see an in-depth interview about her training, her diet, everything you'd ever want to know about her life as a weightlifter.
Well, I think she's one of a few from the Canadian team that have particularly on the women's side, a CrossFit flair or influence on their squad. And 73 kilos is a few less than she missed at the Canadian Nationals a couple of months ago.
So that'll be a no lift for Braddock. We'll see her come back out for a second attempt. Not sure if she's going to increase that or not, but that does bring out Kathleen Winters of the United States, attempting 73 kilograms here. She was successful on her first attempt. So taking a fairly standard 3 kilogram increase. We've been seeing a lot of that this session. Looked very strong on her first attempt.
Good again.
Much like her first attempt, very patient in the bottom, stabilizes. I actually want to look at that again from the front. If we can get that up on the replay, I want to take a look at how wide her feet got there, because as this weight gets a little bit heavier, it looks like she's having to get further down in that squat, and that means for her,
she jumps out when she gets underneath,
catching it in a very wide squat stance.
Yeah, that left side opened up actually.
All right, Amanda Braddock, her second attempt at 73
First.
kilograms.
She had moved up. So, oh no, second.
Nope,
I'm
this
sorry.
is her second attempt. She was unsuccessful with her first.
That's good.
Much better. That almost looked like, oh wow, she's really excited about that. It almost looked like a power snatch, JP.
And she's clearly not pleased with the opening attempt miss. So she is on the board with 73. Watch the rebound here. Hit, return. It's good. Nice movement. A little animated dismount there.
All right, we can see, take a peek back here. You actually see a few well-known coaches and characters in USA Weightlifting. We see Danny Camargo there, his athlete, Kathleen Winters. We see Piros Dimas, the technical director of USA Weightlifting, pacing backstage, talking to Kathleen, calming her down a little bit, giving her some advice. Dimas, of course, someone who knows a lot about competing on the international stage.
Now, Carolina Valencia is another lifter that we have to pay attention to, and I should have mentioned her in the beginning. She was originally on the start list with 185. She dropped it just a couple of kilos to 182, but that's still the second highest total on this start list. And, you know, the thing about Valencia is that she has been to a senior world championship. She has totaled over 180 kilos, which means she's certainly been the type of lifter that you could have seen at the Olympics. The only thing is we haven't seen that level of lifting from her since 2013 or so. So I find her to be an interesting lifter in the mix here.
Well, she's not only someone we've seen compete at the World Championships. We actually have a change to Cynthia San Martin, but going back to...
But the point with Valencia is she was a question mark for me.
Right.
And it looks like it's for real. She looks like she's really
she's a world champion medalist.
Yeah.
Bronze in 2013.
Yep.
But right now we have Cynthia San Martin coming up for her second attempt. 74 kilograms, the lifter from Ecuador. Chases it forward a little bit, but that'll be a good lift. Ecuador with some of the more recognizable singlets in international weightlifting. They look pretty great, honestly.
All right, so San Martin's 2 for 2. At the Junior Worlds, she missed 76 and 77 on her second and third attempts, but she's 2 for 2 here. We'll see if she can get up into that 77 range on her third. I wouldn't be surprised.
I noticed on that lift from the side angle, she was actually jumping back a little bit to receive the bar and then had to chase it forward. So my guess is that we might see her chasing that bar forward again, or she's able to correct and get under it a little more vertically.
All right, so now we're going to go to Kathleen Winters, and Kathleen did what, 73?
She did 73. She
this
opened
is
at
her
70.
Increase. She's going to change this.
Yeah, she went 70 and 73. And you know, she looks like she's lifting well for someone who had a tough weight cut and some pretty tough travel issues as
yeah,
well.
You talk about flying here from South America. Yeah, flying here from Montana is not exactly
That's like
easy.
a different continent.
I guess so. An unexpected overnight stay in Chicago. She didn't arrive into Florida until yesterday. It was like late morning, I think she got here.
You know, funny enough, it's the Pan American Championships are in the U.S. this year, but some of the toughest travel is probably for
From
U.S.
the
and
US.
Canadian athletes, yeah. As far as distance traveled or number of flights taken, because Miami is an international hub. It's pretty easy to get here from a lot of places, just maybe not Montana.
All right, so now here's Valencia, 75 kilos.
Now, Valencia is...
This is what she opened up with when she won her bronze at the Senior World Championships in 2013.
That was in Poland. Very accomplished international lifter.
She has snatched as much as 82 at this body weight.
Fast, but just can't quite secure it overhead. Interestingly enough, this year marks the 10th anniversary of her first Pan American Championship.
Wow.
In 2007.
How did she do there?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. But
I see 2.
I don't know if we have numbers going back that far.
Yeah, I know.
No, that was the Pan
I don't know
American
if weightlifting
Games.
kept
Sorry,
stats,
that was the Pan American
going back that far.
That was the Pan American Games that year. So she was the champion there, and she was the Pan American champion in 2010 as well.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to go back to Alyssa Ritchie. This is her second attempt. 75 kilos is the weight on the bar.
Ritchie being coached backstage by Max Aeda of Juggernaut Training.
3 kilo jump. This is her second attempt.
We certainly know she's capable of this. We've seen her hit it a few times.
And this is a big attempt. We are getting into the money section of this session. We have yet to see just one lifter, and everybody except for Segura is on a second or third attempt. So this is a huge spot here for Ritchie if she's thinking about a medal. That's going to be good.
Looks confident. 3 white lights for Alyssa Ritchie. A lifter and former CrossFit athlete we profiled pretty recently on barbent.com, and that brings up Carolina Valencia for her second attempt. I think of all the athletes in this session, we'll watch Alyssa Ritchie's second attempt here real quick.
It's good effort.
Yeah. I think of all the athletes in this session, it's safe to say Valencia probably has the most international experience.
Oh, yeah. Although Segura...
It's catching up.
There we go.
Very fast. Kind of talking to herself on the way up, saying, why didn't I just do that the first time?
Yeah, you'll see that. You'll see that a lot, and that was a very definitive make there. So let's see where she decides to play. I would not be shocked if she sits back there and waits it out a bit.
Well, this weight, even her first attempt, while it wasn't a good attempt, I mean, it certainly, this almost looks like a training lift for her, a warm-up lift. This brings up Ludia Montero Ramos for her third and final attempt at 75 kilograms. She looked very fast under the bar in her first 2 attempts, both of which were successful.
Oh, almost.
Great effort there. She'll be credited with her second attempt.
That was all out. She did not hold back on that at all.
No, certainly not. That brings up Cynthia San Martin. She was successful at her first and second attempts. She opened at 71, hit 74. The lifter from Ecuador. My guess is she'll actually go up. I think we're going to see a change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because now every attempt that gets made is going to change the lead. I don't think too many lifters will follow after a weight has been made on the same weight.
I agree. I think we're going to see
77 from whoever's next if Kathleen makes that and makes this 76.
All right.
And it's just going to follow this way until the session ends. These are all medal worthy lifts from this point forward.
Kathleen Winters, last year's bronze medalist.
Three for three. Let's see if 76 can hold up.
That's a good lift, and she kind of had to sneak under there. Like we mentioned on her first lift, and we can see it on the replay from the front, that very wide catch, but it works for her. It gets her in a solid position, and she takes her time at the bottom.
It's a good series here for Kathleen. And she really got into that. That's great.
All right, this brings up Amanda Braddock for her third and final attempt at 76 kilograms.
Surprised that she's not taking the 77.
You know, the second attempt looked pretty textbook here, so.
It's a 3 kilo jump. Oh.
That will be no lift for the lifter from Ontario, Canada. She'll be credited with her second attempt today, and obviously seems a little frustrated with her performance here in the snatch, but certainly not out of contention yet. You know, she's not going to walk away most likely with a snatch medal today, but she's still on the board, and depending on how clean and jerks go, could be in distance for an overall medal or clean and jerk medal. This brings up the last lifter we have yet to see today, Anna Segura of Colombia.
She is the two-time defending champion in this class. She won the games in She very consistently opens between, you know, like the 75 and 80 range. So we have seen her open with 77 before. She did that in a meet in Colombia back in March of last year. She went 5 for 6 in a 180 effort.
I love watching her lift. I'm really excited to see her attempts today.
Just a little bit back.
Listen behind. It looks like the bar, we can see that from the side view. Looks like the bar might have clipped her a little bit on the way down in the back there. Looked like she looked back. There's the replay of Segura's attempt here.
No, I think she got out.
Yeah,
it was close.
She did. It was very close, though. Yeah.
So, being the only lifter looking for this 77, she's going to repeat on a 2-minute clock. This is one of those moments where I wouldn't be shocked if they decided to move up, but it's maybe not the best play. Maybe you stay with 77, even though you're following yourself.
I think she's going to follow herself here.
I don't see any movement from the coaches, so it looks like they're just going to let the clock run.
Yeah. All right, she's going to come out and take 77 again for her second attempt. Try and correct from that first attempt where she missed it behind. Wasn't too far off, I don't think, there.
No, and the thing she's got going for her over her competition career, and there have been a lot of major competitions, a couple of senior worlds, she almost never misses her second attempts. That could be the curse of the commentator right there. I hope not, but she's usually very consistent on this attempt for whatever reason, so let's see if she can put this away. Easy.
Much better attempt
easy.
from Segura.
Yeah. And again, she's probably the third lifter in this session that we've seen with a very displeased make following a miss on an opener.
That looked extremely easy. Just check out the speed here on this replay.
Perfect technique.
Very smooth. Yeah. She has to be a little careful. Has to guide that bar down past the shoulders there. She was cutting it a little short in exasperation, I think, about her first lift. But this brings up Cynthia San Martin for her third attempt, 77 kilograms. the lifter out of Ecuador.
Obviously, 77 has been done, so this will move her into second. Oh.
And we'll watch the replay again from the side on this, but I think we saw it on her second attempt. She jumps back and kind of hits herself back from the barbell. So if we're able to get this for a replay. Oh, doesn't look like we have that on replay. No worries. All right, this brings up, looks like Alyssa Ritchie will be our next lifter at 77 kilograms.
I don't see Alyssa anywhere near there.
Yeah.
Here she comes. Okay, so she is going to stick with the 77. This is obviously part of her plan. If she makes it, it will move her into second.
One of only 3 lifters left in this session for the snatch portion.
Which could leave her teetering on the edge of that platform, the medal stand, we'll see. But either way, she's going to have to make it first. She's 2 for 2 so far. She's looked great with both 72 and 75 kilos. Let's see if she can make it 3 for 3.
She is your reigning U.S. national champion for our U.S. viewers watching. That's 2-to-1-4. I think I saw a little bend in her right arm there, JP. And
that
again,
could have gone either way.
We don't have the angle that the judges have, but let's see that on replay from the front.
But again, we're seeing a consistent way of officiating. So
right.
When we've noticed these little wobbles, they've still been going the benefit of the doubt toward the lifter, which I kind of like. I think it's good. So let's see this here. And you just got to hope that the flow and the feel that she's got working right now carries over into the clean and jerk, because if it does, she is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, certainly. This is her first international competition, but someone with a lot of international competition experience is Carolina Valencia, coming up for her 3rd and final snatch attempt, 78 kilograms.
This will guarantee a spot on the medal stand if she makes it. This is 1 more kilo than we've just seen. So with only Segura remaining, this lift, if successful, will guarantee a spot on the podium. Will determine what color after Segura goes. No.
It looked a lot like her first attempt. It just didn't quite secure it. Gives a wave to the crowd.
So that could leave her 4th as far as 5th. Segura, who is currently in first, with the 77 that she made on her second attempt, it's over. This is the final.
So she is guaranteed the snatch gold medal. This is just to distance herself a bit going into the clean and jerks.
Which also means Alyssa Ritchie, with that same 77, is going to take a silver medal in the snatch and basically a tie into the clean and jerk. And the bronze medalist, just 1 kilo off, is Kathleen Winters at 76.
So Kathleen Winters, a lifter who had some extenuating circumstances coming into this competition, someone who we were wondering what was going to do with the increased level of competition relative to her bronze medal performance last year, but she's in a good position. And we have 2 Americans who will be on the podium for the snatch.
And I'm curious to see what Valencia can do in the clean and jerk to change this order.
Oh, you know she's going to be
fired up.
She's going to be fired up after that snatch portion. All right, Anna Segura, her second attempt looked very smooth. Made that after a missed first attempt. Much like her first attempt, missed it behind. Looks like almost the positioning was just a little bit off on that, on the catch there. So that was the last lift of this session. She is your snatch gold medalist because she did snatch 77 kilograms first.
On her second attempt, she will take that gold medal back-to-back years, 3 in a row, actually. And she will take that into the 10-minute break for the clean and jerk.
So that means right after it was announced. It didn't last long.
Yeah, because now that a few competitions have run with it, people see that they're taking bigger weights to win quite often, and it's cool. All right, so now Cynthia Kandis, first attempt, 53 kilos. She snatched 47 on her second attempt. Nice lift there for Cynthia. That should work.
Much like in the snatch portion of the event, 3 white lights for Cynthia, much like the snatch portion of the event, we'll see her following herself probably for all 3 lifts here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be guaranteed. And I noticed on her first attempt here, watch the same thing. She sort of did the same thing with her snatch. Watch a little pause right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's like a little, it's not a hitch, but there's a slight, I don't know, shift.
I'd call it maybe it's a pseudo hitch.
Okay.
It's close to a hitch. Nothing that I think the judges would call for a stop of upward momentum, but or upward movement. But certainly, certainly something where she slows down before going into that second.
Yeah, and I noticed that she did it with all 3 attempts in the snatch, and I was curious to see if it would happen again in the clean and jerk. And it's something she does. But that was a good first attempt there with 53. She's taken a jump 5 kilos, 58.
Well, we have a good bit of time here as Kandis will be following herself likely for all 3 lifts. This clean and jerk portion, much like the snatch portion, is probably going to start off a little on the slower side with some lifters following themselves, a lot of 2-minute clocks. And then we'll get to a grouping of about 5 or 6 lifters who will be opening not too far from each other in the high 80s, low 90s in the clean and jerk. So,
and historically in this class, we've had to play somewhere in the 180s. Low 180s has been enough to do it, I think. The senior American record, the senior Pan American record is 187. That's held by Beatrice Perron, who, as we mentioned, will be lifting in the 53s. The Pan Am clean and jerk record is 103, and that was done by Anna Segura at the Pan Am Games in 2015. Now Segura, who is slated right now for a 95-kilo opener.
We could see an assault on that record here from a few different. I mean, that's something that we certainly know is in the wheelhouse of Segura. It's in Valencia's wheelhouse, possibly, and it's certainly in Alyssa Ritchie's wheelhouse. That is her PR, her last listed clean and jerk PR from training.
103.
103.
Okay.
So we have a few lifters who, depending on how the competition goes, and this is for guts and glory and points for the teams. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that record push.
Yeah, and there's something after Cynthia makes this second attempt here at 58. Remind me, I'll mention something that is a little different and important about the points. All right, here's Kandis, 58 kilos, second attempt. Good fight here. This could go either way.
3 reds. I would agree with that call. I think I saw a bit of motion in both elbows there.
Gritty effort. Unfortunately, no lift there for Kandis. She does have another attempt, so it's going to be a 2-minute clock. She would have followed herself anyway. I think more likely than not, you will see her repeat with this 58 kilos. She currently has a 100-kilo total, so she's sitting on a 5-kilo jump, which was nice and aggressive. I actually like that.
Yeah.
And if she is successful with the 58, she will have a 105-kilo total. She entered the event with a 110, so won't quite get there. We are running the clock, as we mentioned, on her third attempt. And what I was going to say about the point scoring, what the Pan Ams tend to do is they will add cumulative points for placement in the snatch, points for placement in the clean and jerk, and points for placement in the total. And they will count all participants. So the example of that in the qualification system for the Olympics, we only use the total for point allocation, and you tend to, I think in that qualification system, you drop the 2 lowest scores.
That's correct.
That's not in the qualification system for the Pan Am Games.
So every performance matters.
A bomb out will hurt you bad, potentially. So that's something to keep in mind over the course of the weekend.
All right, as predicted, Cynthia Kandis falling herself. Another attempt at 58 kilograms. See if she's more successful on the jerk portion of this lift.
Crashed on her a bit. Better effort, but I think they're going to get her on a press out again. It's that left arm.
We'll see what the judges have to say. 3 reds, you're right. I think they saw the same thing they did on the second attempt, maybe a little less pronounced. We can actually put that up on replay from the front. We'll be able to see that press out a little bit. Look at the left arm there. Is that what you saw, JP?
Yeah.
So here's the replay of Kandis's last attempt. We're going to be watching her left elbow here. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
All right, that'll make Jessica Gonzalez the next lifter, opening at 66 kilograms, a lifter from Nicaragua.
As you mentioned earlier, she is our youth athlete, youngest lifter in this group. Only able to bring in her opening attempt in the snatch. She made 55 kilos. Starting just 11 kilos higher in the clean and jerk. Sometimes you see that with younger, lighter athletes. We'll see how she develops over the years, but
occasionally you'll see it with heavier athletes. We've certainly seen folks in the heavier weight classes with snatches and clean and jerks that are only separated by
a couple kilos.
Yeah.
Well, at the junior Pan Am, she missed 55 in the clean and jerk to open with 62. I'm sorry, missed 55 in the snatch, open with 62 in the clean and jerk. So that's even less spread. All right, nice clean there with 66.
Very solid jerk. I like that a lot. Very quick lockout. Looked like a pretty easy lift for her, getting her on the board. She's not necessarily in medal contention today, but she only made 1 snatch, so certainly just trying to get on the board, get a total in. And as JP was just discussing, every lift here today
is good for some real points.
It's good for some real points for the individuals and the teams. So this is obviously the first session of 5 days of lifting. The Pan Ams began today a little over an hour ago, and they run through this Thursday. So we start here at the lighter weight classes, the 48 kilogram women. We'll finish with the 105 plus kilogram men on Thursday evening, and we'll be bringing you live color commentary presented by barbend.com for pretty much the entire time, A sessions and B sessions. We might have a few guest color commentators swapped in. I know we've been talking to a few well-known coaches, both nationally and internationally, about joining us here in the color commentary booth. So look forward to that and their perspectives on the action a little later on in the week. Very excited about that. Looks like Jessica Gonzalez will be following herself. 70 kilograms currently on the bar. There are some. We did have a slight venue change in that the warm-up area was moved.
Oh, is that right?
Sorry, the training hall was moved.
The training hall was
moved. The training hall was moved.
And subsequently flooded out.
So these circumstances aren't unheard of at Pan American Championships before. Last year in 2016, the city changed actually a few months before. It was not originally slated to take place in Cartagena, but that is where it took place. So something lifters and coaches are used to and ready for, and they have to be a bit adaptable.
So we've dealt with worse, is what you're saying. All right, so now here's Jessica Gonzalez. Second attempt, 70 kilos is the weight on the bar. She made her opener with 66.
Very nice clean. Pretty good second attempt there for Jessica Gonzalez, the lifter out of Nicaragua.
You know, and the thing you like to see there, she is a youth athlete. She's young. She's getting her first experience here at a senior Pan Ams. We have seen her do 67 before. She's missed 70 in the past, so I think that was the most she's done on a major stage, which is great. But the other thing, too, is she's a good technician. She's clearly well coached. You know, anybody can pick out little imperfections on anybody. I mean, but you know, overall, if you watch the cadence, if you watch the positions that she hits, it's good weightlifting. Period. You know, I really like it.
I think any experienced weightlifting coach would be excited to work with an athlete who moves like her and has that technique at such a young age.
Exactly.
So I think that the Nicaraguan Weightlifting Federation should be very excited for her, and I'm sure they are. The youngest lifter in this session by a year. We do have a junior lifter as well.
Right now, with her 55 and 70, she's sitting on a 125 total. She has declared 73. And it looks like they are going to get her up for this lift. We're just taking a peek into the back.
So folks, we have a few camera angles and perspectives here today. We obviously have the front facing, we have the camera angle you see right now, which goes from the warm-up room onto the main stage. We have two cameras on the main stage as well, and then one that's on the marshal's table for last-minute changes and adjustments backstage. All right, Jessica Gonzalez, her third and final clean and jerk attempt, 73 kilograms.
Looks like Landeros is on deck waiting for 75.
Another solid looking lift.
All right, and she's happy, and there's a reason why. That's probably a personal best for her, and that is 3 for 3 in the clean and jerk.
She should be happy with that performance.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to watch. Let's see this one more time. Clean technique is great.
Yeah. Very good lockout on the jerk. I'd like to see that back leg a little
bent.
Softer.
Yeah,
but you know, some lifters
get away with the stiff
Olympic
back
champions
leg,
get away with that, you know.
But you know, when if we're nitpicking on technique,
right.
yeah, I mean sometimes we certainly like to teach it here with the bent back leg and the jerk. But look, a good lift is a good lift, and all three of hers were good.
It's easy to nitpick when you're not up there lifting on the international stage.
That's right.
I don't know about you, JP, but my lifting career didn't quite make it that far. All right, now we have Margot Reynosa coming up for her first attempt, a lifter from Guatemala. She's opening at 80 kilograms here.
Bit of a grind. Jerk was easy though.
You know, we see her have a bit of an early arm bend here. 3 white lights, good lift. She had that same issue on the snatch, and it really caused her some issues on her second and third attempt.
Yeah, and you know what I've noticed about her? Let's take a look at this.
I did like this jerk, though.
Yeah, nice effort. But just one thing I noticed in the snatch, you know, she did miss 2. If you look at her body language, she's just not.
She doesn't look that comfortable up there right now.
She's not really. You're not really getting the feel or vibe of somebody who's loving her day.
Mm-hmm. And look, to be fair, these athletes have gone through a lot between travel, weight cuts,
Thunderstorms. It was pouring before.
We have Catherine Landeros opening at 80 kilograms here.
Nice. All right, well, that's 4 in a row for Landeros.
She had a great snatch portion. One of 3 athletes, in the session to go 3 for 3 on the snatches, and she's opened up just the same in the clean and jerks. So good to see her having a great day on the Pan American stage. And our next lifter is going to be Ludia Montero Ramos of Cuba. She was a lot of fun to watch in the snatch portion. Looks like, not sure if we're going to have a change. Oh, nope, she's coming up. You can see her and her coach prepping right backstage.
And Landeros has already put 12 kilos on the last time on her total from the last time we've seen her. She's got
fantastic.
2 attempts to go. That's
Fantastic,
good.
yeah.
All right. 80 kilos here, first attempt. For Ludia Monteros Ramos. This could be a 2-1 referee decision. Let's see which
I think
direction.
it's three
All
reds.
3 reds.
Yeah, I saw a pretty clear bend there in the right arm. You know, she readjusted before her jerk. You'll see her kind of reset her hands to get a better position and be able to actively punch up on that bar or punch herself under. But while she caught it with locked out elbows, I think she certainly did have a rebend there.
Yeah, in the recovery, let's take a look at it.
Yep.
You know, again, and this is slight stuff, but these are the rules. That's how it goes. I mean,
And this certainly, you know, the judging is strict. This is an international competition, one of the largest international competitions as far as star power and the level of lifting in the world this year.
Right, in our hemisphere. It is the premier event.
It is the premier event. And so the judging should be, is expected to be strict.
Yeah.
Certainly, though, so far, not the strictest you and I have seen, JP.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in the snatch. I like it, but we agreed in that case that we thought we did see that press out there, and I didn't. You know, you see the Cuban coach there, looking a little like he was asking, you know, what did you see? Nothing. Trying to sell it, but you know, I think from our perspective, we did feel like we saw something.
And he's actually, you could see her coach signaling to maybe press up a little bit. He was gesturing to his shoulder. Corresponding to the shoulder where she had a little bit of issues on the jerk. But we're going to see her come out and take a second attempt at 80 kilograms. The clean, certainly capable of that. It looked pretty good the first time. So we definitely want to see her come out and make this jerk. A little bit better.
And that'll work.
3 white lights. If you're just tuning in, this is the first session of lifting here at the 2017 Pan American Championships. We are coming to you live from just a little bit west of Miami, of downtown Miami, Florida. A little bit over toward the Everglades, and we certainly did experience some South Florida weather earlier today with a very sudden and heavy rainstorm that caused a bit of flooding actually in the training hall. So that was certainly an interesting development, one these athletes and coaches will have to work around and within. This color commentary is presented by Barbend.com, the official media partner of USA Weightlifting. We're excited to be here today.
All right, we've got 83 kilos loaded now, and it's going to be Catherine Landeros. This is her second attempt. So far, she has looked great with everything she's touched. 3 for 3 in the snatch. Did 65 on her third attempt. Opened in the clean and jerk with 80 kilos. 3 kilo jump here to 83 on her second attempt. Solid again.
Very strong overhead.
Good lift. And for now, with 1 attempt to go, she's going to be sitting on, she has a 148 kilo total. We'll see where she elects to take her third attempt. Looks like she's going back to her seat at her warm-up platform. They're expecting a bit of a wait before we'll see her again. But this was a great effort here. Call it no doubter.
All right, Ludia Montero Ramos. Looks like she is prepping for her third and final attempt. Lifter from Cuba. She is still a junior lifter.
4 kilo jump off her second attempt success with 80 kilos. This is her third and final attempt. That should be good.
All right, 3 white lights.
And that will give her a 157 kilo total. 4 for 6 overall.
All right, this brings up the first attempt for Kathleen Winters of the United States. Now, she is your bronze medalist in the snatch from today. Oh, we have a change.
Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't see Winters in that ready area.
It's great having a camera back there. You can really see sometimes the screens we have here out front in the venue can be a little misleading relative to changes and adjustments. You can see a shot back there in the warm-up area, the 48 kilogram women. Some of them still warming up. Most of them have yet to take the stage. This brings up the second attempt for Margot Reynosa.
Made her opener with 80.
Reynoso, apologies.
5 kilo jump here for Reynoso.
The lifter from Guatemala. Bit of a grind on that clean, certainly.
No.
That was, I think, too exhausting of a clean to really get much pop on the jerk there. And you had mentioned JP on her last lift, which was a good lift. She had a successful opening clean and jerk. Doesn't look super, super comfortable right now.
No, and with her opening attempt at 80, she's sitting on a 143. She entered with 150.
Okay.
So again, even if she makes this this third attempt here, she won't quite reach her entry total for whatever that's worth. We've seen her do as much as 85. She did that in the Pan American Championships last year on her third attempt.
All right, that
Finished
means
6th there.
Well, it looks like she's set to follow herself. I'm guessing she'll take 85 again.
I don't know. Yeah,
It's tough to say.
it's tough to say. I mean, in this case, it's tough to say. Do you get a rest? Because I mean, that did look like it drained her a bit, but she's wrapping up. I think she'll probably come out. But even here, I mean, that second attempt really looked like a max effort on that clean. It's going to take.
She's going to have to dig very deep here.
Yeah,
Which,
to get
I
out
mean,
of the clean.
not to take anything away from her, is certainly still within her capabilities that we know. Maybe she can catch a clean in a stronger position, or maybe catch a little bit of a rebound out of it, which she did not do on her first 2 clean and jerk attempts. She did kind of sit at the bottom there. You'll see a lot of lifters do that on the snatch in order to stabilize. It's much more difficult to do that on the clean when the weight's a lot heavier and positioned on the chest.
All right, so here is Margot Reynoso, her third attempt, 85 kilos. Let's see what she has. Hopefully there's enough in the tank to get her through this clean.
No, she just really got pinned under that and couldn't even make too much of an effort to stand up. She clearly is a little disappointed with her performance, so she'll be credited with her opening attempt in both the snatch and the clean and jerk. Just didn't seem like she had the leg strength today, and didn't quite get into that rhythm, which it can be difficult on the international stage.
143 kilo total for her, and it did look like the legs were kind of blown out after that second attempt. That was her max effort for the day. That was the one she had to have. So hopefully we will see her again in the future. And now we are going to bring out Eleni Bermudez-Perez of Cuba. This is her first attempt. 86 kilos is the weight.
She is the second Cuban athlete in the session.
She opened with 82 last year in Cartagena, made 85 on her third attempt. So she's opening 1 kilo more than she made on her third last year.
Clearly,
love to see that.
Clearly, training has been going well enough for her to be opening significantly heavier. That looked pretty good to me, JP.
I like that natural hyperextension in her arms in the overhead position.
She certainly takes advantage of that, and even paused actually in the split position on that jerk in order to make sure she was stable, something that a lot of lifters do before recovering from the split position. Clearly works for her, and that's a great opening first attempt. That makes the lifter Catherine Landeros of Chile. You can see on the replay here. I really like the pause she takes in the split.
Solid. Made sure she had it secured. It's a good way to start. And now we're seeing some jockeying around. Interesting. Landeros was called with 86. I'm sorry, with 85. There was another change, and it's going to bring back Landeros now. New 1 minute clock. 86 kilos, third attempt.
This is to go 6 for 6 on the day. She's had quite a good day, quite a good competition so far.
65-83 is done so far.
This is to stay perfect.
Also give her the lead. 161 kilo total for now. No.
Just after a long day of warm-ups and lifting, couldn't quite get up out of the clean. So she will be credited with her second attempt.
Would have been 151, I'm sorry. So that will, her second attempt, and that will end her day with a 148 kilo total. Nice effort, fun to watch her lift. And she makes attempts. I mean, these are 2 Pan Ams where she's gone 5 for 6 in both appearances.
And, it's tough to fault a lifter for missing the last lift out of just getting pinned under a clean. Like, there's only so much leg strength.
Yeah.
It's even especially after a weight cut and travel, this can be an exhausting competition. Well, that brings Cynthia San Martin up for her opening attempt at 88 kilograms. So now we're kind of getting into that high 80s, low 90s grouping where we're going to see the majority, it feels like the majority of lifters in this session.
She is one of 6 lifters we've yet to see open, so this is a nice start here in the clean, and that's a good lift.
Wasting no time. I like how she has a very quick setup. 3 white lights certainly looked great.
Perez is being called. Ailani Perez, Bermudez-Perez, made 86 on her opener. This is a 3 kilo jump. And they are getting her ready to come out. She is going to take this.
All right, just under a minute on the clock, and it looks like she might be followed by
Winters on 80.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on 90.
Yeah. All right, Eliani Bermudez-Perez of Cuba, second attempt, 89 kilograms. Looked very strong in her first attempt. 3-kilo jump off of her opener. Forgot to adjust her belt there. 14 seconds on the clock.
No problem. Oh, little stutter step there.
Waits for the down signal. Has to bring those feet in line. Okay, 2-1-4. It looks like the center judge did
see something he didn't like.
Yes, I'm not sure what that was, but
okay, 2-1 in your favor. No need to ask too many questions. Just
I
get
don't,
over.
I don't see any activity from the jury, so I think we're good. Yeah, I'm curious to see what
maybe something
they saw here. Maybe a rebend on the left. It was kind of tough to tell.
Tough to say.
All right, this brings up Kathleen Winters, who's opening up at 90 kilograms. So the pace of the session has certainly picked up a little bit.
Yeah, we're in the mix now. There's no question about it.
Winters.
90 on Winters. It looks like Richie, for now, is sitting on 90.
So Winters is your reigning bronze medalist and has already secured bronze in the snatch today. Quick jerk, very strong overhead. We've seen that from her on the international stage.
Maybe not as snappy as you would like on the clean, but a good lift's a good lift.
She's a lifter where, you know, if she can stand up with it on the clean, there's a very good chance she's going to be able to get it overhead. She has excellent walkout and technique. Being coached backstage by Danny Camargo, we can see a replay of that lift here. Not an easy clean by any means.
Back on her heels. Nice adjustment, actually, before she came out of the bottom there.
But this jerk, very quick dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to criticize on the jerk there.
Nor should you. That's a good lift.
All right.
And now,
followed by her teammate, Alyssa Ritchie. Ritchie finished in silver medal position in the snatch. This is her first international competition. Ritchie is a longtime CrossFit athlete, part-time weightlifter who has gone full-time to weightlifting, a decision she made in 2016, and it has clearly paid off.
She clean and jerked 96 in May in Chicago at Nationals. Here she is opening with 91. Another quick dip.
All right.
And another good lift.
Now, Ritchie, we know, and we profiled her on barbend.com. She told us that she has gone as heavy as 103 kilograms in training. Now, that was clearly training a little bit over body weight.
Right.
A lift made in the gym is different than one made on stage, but let's take a repeat here. I'm not sure if she's good for 12 more kilos today, but you never
something
know.
more.
Yeah, something more. X kilos more.
Very profound guess. But this is a very solid start for her, and let's see if she can separate enough to prevent anybody from the field clipping her for at least the silver.
Yeah.
Obviously, she would like more. And again, the one that we're looking at is Valencia, but we cannot forget Amanda Braddock, who is opening with 93 kilos. We haven't seen her yet. But now we're going to go back to Bermudez at 91.
This is her third and final attempt, 91 kilograms. She's gone 86, 89, just a 2-kilo jump here. Looked very solid on her last attempt, so I think she has a very good shot at making this.
Currently has a 159 kilo total. That's got her sitting in fourth. Pretty effort.
Again, the center judge seeing something they didn't like, and we can show that on a replay here on the front-facing screen, and I'm not sure what they're seeing. Maybe a slight rebend on the left.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not quite sure either. I hear you.
Looks pretty good to me, but.
And I was incorrect. That good lift moved her into fourth for the moment. 5 for 6 day.
Let's see if there's something here on the jerk. Maybe rebend on the right, actually. I'm not sure. Well, that will bring up Carolina Valencia, the most experienced athlete in this session as far as international competitions. She is a world medalist. She won bronze at the 2013 World Championships in Poland. Oh, we have a change. It is Cynthia San Martin of Ecuador, who will be coming up for 92 kilograms. We can see her backstage being prepped by her coaches.
All right, San Martin, excuse me, recently lifted at the Junior World Championships. She was fourth in the clean and jerk, close to the medal stand, but she opened with 90 kilos there, made 93 on her second attempt. So I think she's looking to eclipse her performance from just a few weeks ago in Japan. 92 start will take her on the path of doing so, and let's see if she can get this done.
I saw a bit of a press out there. Let's see. Okay, 2-1 4.
Yeah, and when you see what we're calling a bit of a press, we tend to be correct most of the time that one of the refs, it becomes a decision lift, not a majority, not a unanimous
Certainly
call, I think.
Although worth noting, we don't have as good a view as the judges right now. So. All right, this will bring out Amanda Braddock, an athlete we've profiled on barbend.com before. She's a veteran Canadian weightlifter who we've seen on the international stage before, and she only made her second attempt snatch and seemed pretty frustrated by that, so my guess is she is gunning for a big clean and jerk here.
This is a heavy opener for her. Nice clean.
Didn't look that heavy on the clean.
This could be a 2-1 again. It might be something in that right arm. Hopefully this goes her way, and it does.
You're correct. 2-1 4. Yeah, maybe a little soft on that.
Glad that went her way. But when I was saying that was a heavy opener for Amanda in her competition history, from what I've seen, I haven't seen her open heavier than 87, which she did last year in Cartagena. So to open with 92 here is pretty big. She's got it done. So
the clean was no problem for her.
Yeah,
that was maybe the easiest clean we've seen of this session. All right, that will bring up currently Cynthia San Martin.
Don't really see her close by, so I would not. She's getting down to 35 seconds, so she's going to need to come out. There's the change. Okay.
All right, this will bring Carolina Valencia up. She is the 2013 World Bronze Medalist. I only made her second attempt snatch here today and seemed pretty frustrated by that. Her first and third snatch attempts seemed incredibly close, just slightly off on positioning. Clearly the strength was there, the speed was there, technique not quite there, which can certainly be frustrating for an athlete. So my guess is she's going to get aggressive here with the clean and jerks.
Yeah, and at 75, I mean, the 75 left her in fourth place. I mean, that's really, it is only a 3 kilo separation, a 4 kilo separation to get into the lead overall. So it's not like her day is done. It's not like she's out of it in any way. And in fact, of the other two medalists, she's the only one who hasn't opened yet.
And we did see a change, so she will be opening heavier
than
94. Now we have Kathleen Winters, her second attempt. Now she opened at 90 kilos. A 4 kilo jump's about probably what I would have expected from her. Looked strong on her first attempt.
But I would expect this clean to be a grind. No, it's better than her opener. Oh, yeah. Kathleen Winters.
5 for 5 on the day. She showed up and is making lifts. She and Richie both perfect on the day, and it looks like Alyssa Ritchie is now listed to come out with 94 kilograms. My guess is she actually might go a little heavier than that.
She's gonna. I agree.
We can see this clean and jerk replay from Kathleen Winters. The clean actually looked better and easier than her first attempt. She caught it in a great position. Didn't have to make that same adjustment that she did in the first clean.
Not back on her heels, exactly.
Right, exactly. All right, so there is a change. Richie's going to go up, and that brings us to Cynthia San Martin of Ecuador. Her third and final attempt at 94 kilograms, and I think she's going to be taking this.
I think so, and this will move her for the moment. Oh no, she's making the change.
We have another change. Okay, this is where it gets exciting.
Oh yeah.
Because we have a lot of lifters in this session still within shooting distance of a clean and jerk medal and an overall medal. So we've seen a bunch of different names flash around.
There's a change coming in.
Yeah.
So Segura is not going to open with 95.
No.
Will Alyssa Ritchie take 95 on her second?
I could see her taking
This will move her into the lead if she does it for the moment. So it is.
Nope. Okay, yeah. So
Worth it.
we do have Alyssa Ritchie coming out for her second attempt. She's 4 for 4 on the day. This is a 4-kilo jump.
And this feels right. It feels like a good decision here. So if successful, so move her to what, 172?
Ooh. That looked even better than her first attempt. 3 white lights, so Alyssa Ritchie, 95 kilograms, certainly something we know she's capable of. The question is...
Well, she's Ritchie entered with what, 172? Or 174 on Ritchie.
She's at 172
right now, and with an attempt to go.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, because she might have to wait a while for her next attempt.
She is.
You know, she's certainly in range of potentially an overall medal here, depending on what Segura and Valencia do. So her coach backstage, Max Aeda, is going to have to be very careful about keeping his athlete warm without tiring her out, because she might go a while here before taking the stage again.
Yeah, and Braddock, again, is very much in this thing with an additional 3 kilos to make up. Braddock is sitting on 96 kilos. For her second attempt, I think we might see a change from that. I don't expect her.
Well, we also have 2 lifters yet to come out for
Right.
the clean and jerks, and it's Segura and Valencia.
Right now, San Martin is coming out with 95. Winters has not made a declaration, so technically Kathleen Winters is on deck with 95 for now. That will absolutely change.
We do have a slight pause. It looks like there might be a little sweat on the platform, so the officials taking care of that. This event being run to very, very high international standards, so good to see they're on top of that, keeping the platform clean. All right. Cynthia San Martin, third attempt, 95 kilograms on the bar.
Oh.
Just got pinned.
For a second, though, I thought it was going to happen. She had that little hop, and I thought she was going to try to...
You know, it's something we saw earlier in the clean and jerk portion. The end of a long day, you're going to see some athletes get pinned under those cleans. The leg strength just isn't there after weight cuts and warm-ups and attempts. Not unheard of.
All right, so now will Valencia actually take this? She's already changed once.
We can see Winters backstage. Okay, I think we are going to see Valencia come out here. Okay.
If successful here, this will move her into second place in the total. It will not move her ahead of Alyssa Ritchie.
Valencia, the oldest and arguably most experienced internationally lifter in this session today.
We've seen her clean and jerk 103, as we've mentioned. Oof.
With some authority behind that, looks off to the side.
She's
we've talked about selling lifts before,
yeah.
JP, and
that was like a mic drop.
yes.
That was an I'm not interested in fourth place opening attempt.
It's pretty amazing sometimes. We can see on this replay right after the lift. It's amazing what a lifter is able to communicate dropping weight.
That's right. It's a great point. Just watch.
All right. She's really saying she's still in this thing. Like she thinks she's the lifter to beat today.
And the other one who's going to have something to say from behind, from the trailing position after the snatch, is Amanda Braddock, and she is absolutely going to need to make this if she wants any aspiration for a medal, I think. Should be good. And this becomes a waiting game for Amanda Braddock.
Yeah.
That was good enough to move her, I believe, into fourth for the moment. Excuse me, into second for the moment. But she does have an attempt in hand. The thing that's working against Amanda Braddock is once all the changes start coming in and the game gets played, Amanda has the lowest start number, which means she's probably going to get dragged out first or into a weight heavier than she may have originally planned for. So let's see how it shakes out. Winters, it looks like, will take this 97. If she makes it, 76.97, perfect day, and will give her 173, as well as the lead temporarily, with 4 lifters holding on to at least one attempt.
Grind on the clean. Let's see if she can maintain for the jerk. Oh.
But if you're watching that at home, give Kathleen a nice round of applause for one unbelievable effort in the clean. 5 for 6 on the day, 170 kilo total for last year's bronze medalist, and we will have to see what that 170 will mean. For now,
all right,
it's a bronze.
Looks like Segura is going to be opening at 98 kilograms. Anything can still happen.
Yeah.
Winters is not out of this yet. She doesn't control her own destiny.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
And certainly we can't fault her for effort on that last attempt.
No. All right, so now here is Segura, and if you have never seen her clean and jerk before,
You're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat. Segura is the current Pan Am senior and junior record holder.
Two-time defending champion, Pan American champion.
And 98 if she makes it here will go a long way toward putting her in position for a 3rd straight gold medal in Pan Am Championship.
And if you've never seen her lift before, watch the transition between the clean and the jerk. It's pretty interesting.
Nothing. It's just unbelievable.
That's why she's the champion. I mean, there's not much to say about that.
That's an opener that leads you to believe if the rest of the field gives her the opportunity, she's going to go 104.
Yeah.
Meaning she's going to have to stay on pace to make sure that nobody clips her or beats her, but
I think today, looking at the form she's in, she's very much capable of a new Pan American record. That jerk looked like nothing.
It did. The whole thing looked like nothing. All right.
But a lifter who might have something to say about that is Carolina Valencia of Mexico.
If successful here, this will move her ahead of both Richie and Winters into 2nd place. This is her 2nd attempt, 98 kilos. Experience just straight up fight, and that's got her back in this game.
You get the feeling she's going to take whatever she needs to try and.
The question is,
well,
for
she might not have
second
the
or third,
opportunity, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be a dangerous game for her to go too aggressive. If Segura takes a 3 or a 4 kilo jump, I think Valencia may have to play for silver. It might just be too much to make up.
It's also worth noting, Valencia. Sorry, what were you?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Valencia is a two-time Pan American champion.
Yes.
1 games, 1 championship.
Yes.
She won the Pan American Games in 2007, a decade ago, and she is still lifting at this level.
Which is, it's big time. This is legit stuff here. I mean, if you compare what we're seeing right now, I mean, part of what we all want to do in the Western Hemisphere is be relevant in the world as a whole. But if you look at the regional federations, right, the Pan Am Federation, we're probably the second major event. I don't think has the Asians happened yet, but I know the European Championship has happened, and in where was it? Split? Yeah, in Croatia earlier this year. The winning total there was 180.
It was the same. That was the same weekend as the university and under 25 championships.
Yes, that's right.
For the U.S. Because I was watching from Gainesville, and with the time difference, I was able to watch some of the European sessions before we went on for commentary in Gainesville.
So what I'm looking at in the grand scheme there is, can we get above that 180 out of this weight class? And I think we might.
We certainly have multiple athletes capable of that. Amanda Braddock, so this is her third and final attempt.
99 kilos, if successful. This will move her into 4th place. So this attempt is a points play for Team Canada. Great clean.
It's her best looking clean of the day.
No.
Isn't able to secure it.
So that's going to be a 3 for 6. What is it, 169 total, I think, for Amanda?
All right, so this means that we have 3 active lifters left, and the bar is going up to 100 kilograms. So we are within spitting distance of that Pan American record, which is held by Anna Segura.
Kathleen Winters is 1 made attempt away from. Oh no, she has fallen off the platform. Yeah. She will not
win an overall medal this weekend. She will walk away with the snatch bronze.
Yes.
And we had talked at the beginning of this session. She was the bronze medalist at last year's Pan American Championships. The level of competition this year in this weight class, I would argue, is significantly higher.
Yeah.
So I don't think she should be
no, she added 4 kilos to her total from a year ago, and that, unfortunately, the field
wasn't enough to get on the podium
this year. Yeah. All right, so now here's Segura's second attempt at 100 kilos. Right now, Kathleen Winters, Alyssa Ritchie is sitting on 100 kilos for her third attempt.
So this is only a 2 kilo jump here. She opened at 98.
But if she makes it, I think it'll put her in position for the win, and probably a crack at 104.
I would agree.
So it's a good play. You know, if you took a picture of that with the bar overhead, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it were a snatch.
A snatch or a clean and jerk. You know,
that is a wide grip.
Not only does she go straight to lockout, she gets that bar well behind her head. We'll see on the replay here. She gets that bar well behind her head on the jerk, and it's just such a strong position. Quick replay here, and then we'll have Alyssa Ritchie come out for her third and final attempt. This is actually, for Ritchie, this would be a 6 for 6 performance were she to make this lift at 100 kilograms.
And 100 kilos is a huge milestone for this weight class.
We're well over double body weight.
Yeah. This will be tough. No.
That'll
That
be a
is
no lift for Richie.
Great effort. Unfortunately, she just could not get all the way through. And that took a lot out of her.
It did. I mean, she pushed hard on that.
The implication of that miss for Richie, who is currently in third, is that it looks like that is where she will stay overall. And this is decided even, well, no. It depends on what Valencia chooses to take. Valencia and Segura are the only two lifters with lifts remaining. Valencia trailed by 2 kilos coming out of the snatch.
And she will be the lifter up. It looks
So
like
then
she is
the
coming
medals
up.
are decided. She is the silver medalist overall and in the clean and jerk, regardless of the outcome of this lift. Alyssa Ritchie is the bronze medalist, regardless of the outcome of this lift.
It's worth noting, this is Alyssa Ritchie's first international competition.
Yes.
So she will walk away with multiple medals,
Oh, yeah.
including a spot on the overall podium.
They're 5 for 6 day. I mean, look, she couldn't have asked for more from herself. And Carolina Valencia is looking for 101 kilos here, third attempt.
A lot of emotion from her, gives a wave to the crowd.
But after a disappointing series in the snatch, she came back in the clean and jerk despite
She'll be on the podium.
only making one clean and jerk. Oh no, did she make
One snatch, 2 clean and jerks.
one snatch, 2 clean and jerks?
Yeah.
She will be the 2017 Pan Am silver medalist. And we are down to our final attempt of this session.
And, not only is Anna Segura attempting to break her own Pan American clean and jerk record, she went to 105.
And I wonder, what is the junior? Well, she's born in 91. But this would be a new senior Pan American record, 105 kilos. Anna Segura. I think I know why Beatrice Perron might have moved up. She might have not wanted any part of this.
Despite only one made snatch, this has been Segura's show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this will also give her the total record. Wow.
Oh, that would have been for a new clean and jerk and total record.
Well, we know she can clean it. We know she'll be back. Hopefully we will see her. I would expect we'd see her in Anaheim at the World Championships later this year. But take one more look at our 2017 48-kilo gold medalist, Anna Segura from Colombia. And Colombia's off to the start we expected that they might be.
Certainly a dominant force in weightlifting in this hemisphere. Well, folks, that concludes the women's 48-kilogram session here in Miami at the 2017 Pan American Championships. Up next at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the men's 56-kilogram A session. Actually, it's the only 56-kilogram session we have this weekend. Some sessions were consolidated. Until then, from barbend.com, I'm David Tao, and I'm joined by
JP Nicoletta, and we will see you soon.